In the previous few lecture, we have discussed the measurement of unknown resistance using different techniques such as hole diameter method, then Wheatstone bridge method and Kelvin's bridge method. Now in this lecture, we will discuss how to measure the unknown inductance. And in order to measure the unknown inductance, the possible or the popular method is available in the literature, that is Maxwell bridge. So the Maxwell bridge can be useful for the measurement of unknown inductance in a circuit. Okay, and as we know that for a resistance measurement we are using only a DC source, but in the case of, or if you have to measure the unknown inductance or unknown capacitance, or in general if you have some sort of reactive components in your circuit, then you have to use the AC source. Okay, so this is a simple difference. So today's lecture we will discuss the inductance measurement. So inductance measurement, and for the inductance measurement we will use Maxwell's bridge. For the inductance measurement, the popular method is the Maxwell bridge. And as I tell you that, so initially we will see some of the important concept when you have inductance and capacitance in your circuit. So now from now onwards, for resistance we will call as impedance because it is AC quantity. Impedance is AC quantity, and then we will introduce some or introduce two terms, that is capacitive reactance and inductive reactance. Okay, in general circuit theory, the impedance, that is the impedance, can be denoted by letter Z and represent like this: R plus JX, where your R is nothing but the resistive component and Jx is the reactive component. Either it is Jx is the either it is a capacitive or a inductive. So this is impedance can be written as a Z is equal to R plus Jx. Okay, and when you have such kind of components, either capacitive component or inductive component, then your current voltage relationship can be differ than the usual resistive part. So for example, if you have the resistance in a circuit, capacitance in a circuit, or inductance in a circuit, okay, then your current voltage relationship can be changed. For example, if we let us consider this is the resistive part sine wave, resistive part sine wave, and for the if the total circuit consists of only resistive component, then your current and voltage are in phase. Okay, so they are in phase. Either they can have a different amplitude, but they are in a phase. So the current as well as your voltage sine wave, they are in a phase. But if the capacitive component is the dominant factor in your circuit, then the current can be lead by the voltage by 90 degrees. So you can draw this like this. So here you can have the 90 degree phase shift. So for the capacitive part, or if there is a capacitive part is dominant in your network, then current is leading the voltage by the 90 degree. And if there is a inductor in a circuit, then current is lagging by 90 degree than the your voltage. So then you can draw like this. Okay, so here you can have this lagging and this is leading and lagging. So if pure capacitive part is there, then current and voltage are in phase. If capacitive component is dominant in your network, then current is leading by 90 degree, whereas if inductor component is dominant in your network or circuit, then current is lagging by the 90 degree. Okay, and this is a network. For example, Maxwell bridge, as we know that it is the bridge and it is measure an unknown inductance in terms of known capacitance. Okay, let's remember this. The Maxwell bridge measure the unknown inductance in terms of known capacitance. This is a basic theory for that. So now we will also dive into more details of this. For example, as I tell you, that is the impedance Z can be written as like this, that is R plus jx or R plus j omega x. Oh, okay, R plus j omega x, where your j is nothing, it is imaginary quantity, omega is the angular frequency, and x represent the either capacitive component or inductive, either it is xc or it is xl, either it is xc or xl. So for example, if there is a capacitor in a circuit, that for example this, for example for resistors, you can simply write like this, Z is equal to R. Okay, for a resistive part. If the capacitive is dominant, then you can write like this equation, Z is becomes R plus 1 upon j omega c. And if there is an inductor in a circuit, then you can write like this, Z is equal to R plus j omega L. R plus j omega L. Okay, so this is Z is nothing but this simply impedance. It is impedance, but it is in a AC circuit. And if you represent this Z in a DC circuit, then it becomes simply R. Okay, now we will draw a Maxwell bridge for the measurement of unknown inductance. Maxwell bridge for measurement of unknown inductance. As a similar to our previous cases, we have to draw 4 arms. Okay, so this is your bridge. Then here you can have a detector. Then you can have a detector, and we have to connect, as I told you previously, we have to connect AC source, not a DC source, because it consists of some sort of inductance as well as a capacitance. Okay, and here are the resistors. You can write like this. So this R1 is the variable resistance, that is R1. This is fixed resistance R2. Okay, so this is unknown resistance Rx, and then we have to measure the inductance. Sorry, we have to draw L. That is, this is a Lx. Okay, simply the inductance can be drawn like this. Okay, so this is Lx. This is Rx, Lx, and this is the R3, R1, R2, R3, and this is the unknown part that you have to find out. So this is a simple circuit that can measure the unknown inductance in terms of known capacitance. Now we have to draw known capacitor. We have to connect this capacitor at this part, and this is basically an electrolytic capacitor. This is a C1 capacitor, C1. So this becomes our total circuit for, or it is basically Maxwell bridge for the measurement of unknown inductance. Now we will find out its equation. For example, there is a general bridge balance. As we know that there is a general bridge balance equation. So the general bridge balance equation can be written as Z1 into Z2, sorry, Z1 into Zx and Z2 into Z3. That is a cross multiplication. So general bridge balance equation is like this: Z1 into Zx is equal to Z2 into Z3. This is a general bridge balance equation. So we have to solve for the Zx. So Zx can be written as like this: Z2 into Z3 divided by Z1. Simply we have take Z1 at this side. But as we know that there is another term, you may be aware that is admittance, and admittance is nothing but the ratio of impedance. So ratio of impedance, for example, but the ratio of impedance, that is impedance is nothing but the Z. So ratio of impedance 1 upon Z1 is nothing but the admittance Y, and let's consider it is Y1, or it is a admittance. And this admittance, not double D, it is single D, admittance. So basically admittance is a measure, that is of how easily a circuit or a device will allow a current to flow. So it is a measure of how easily a circuit or device will allow a current to flow, is nothing but the admittance. And it's basically, as we know that, for example, in a DC network we can write like this: R is the resistance. Okay, so it's and conductivity is its reciprocal. Okay, conductivity, let's say conductivity Q. So in a AC network, this basically you can write like this, and its reciprocal is the Y, and its SI unit is the Siemens. So SI unit of the admittance is the Siemens capital S. Okay, Siemens capital S. And don't forget that is this capital S for your admittance and the small s for second. Okay, don't mix all these two terms. Okay, so we have a general bridge balance equation, that is Z1 into Zx is equal to Z2 into Z3, and we have to find for Zx, so Z2 into Z3 divided by Z1, but 1 upon Z1 is nothing but the admittance. Okay, we can write admittance. So our equation becomes, so Zx is equal to Z2 into Z3 into Y1. So this is our equation number 1. Okay, so our equation number 1. So but from this, for example, this is the Z2 part, this is the Z1 part, this is the Z3 part, and this is the Zx part. Okay, so we have to solve for the Zx. Okay, but as we know that from this circuit diagram, Z2 can be represented as a R2, Z3 can be represented as a R3, and Y1 is equal to 1 upon R1. So this is 1 upon R1 because we are writing in terms of admittance. Okay, if you write in terms of Z, then it becomes R1 plus 1 upon j omega C. So Y1 is it is reciprocal, so 1 upon R1 plus j omega C1, because so Z1 is equal to R1 plus 1 upon j omega C1, and as we know that Z1 can be written as like this. So this equation becomes like this. So the Zx is equal to Z2 into Z3 into Y1, but we have Z2 is equal to R2, Z2 is equal to R3, and Y1 is equal to 1 upon R1 plus j omega C1. And if you substitute this value into equation 1, if we substituting these values in equation 1, if you substitute these values into equation 1, then you get another equation. So what you get? So this equation can be written like this. So for Zx is equal to, so basically what we get, Zx is nothing but the, so for example Zx is nothing but the Rx plus j omega Lx, so Zx is equal to Rx plus j omega Lx is equal to, by substituting all these value, what we get, R2 into R3. So R2 into R3, and what is the value of Y1? It is nothing but 1 upon R1 plus j omega C1. Okay, by simple mathematics, what we get, R2 into R3 divided by R1 plus j omega R2 R3 C1. Okay, and you can simply understand there are two different terms. This term is considered as a real term, this is a real term, and this is the imaginary term. So by separating real and imaginary part, by separating real and imaginary parts, we get what we get, Rx is equal to, so for example for this Rx we get R2 into R3 divided by R1, and for the Lx, because j omega and j omega will be cancelled out to each other, so Lx is equal to R2 into R3 into C1. By separating real and imaginary part, we get this equation 2. So this Rx is equal to this term, that is R2 into R3 divided by R1, and j omega Lx related to this term. So j omega will be cancelled to this, and so what we get, Lx is equal to R2 into R3 into C1. So this is the general bridge balance condition for the Maxwell bridge. And to obtain the bridge balance, you can simply, R3 is adjusted for the inductive balance, R3 is adjusted for the inductive balance, whereas R1 is adjusted for the capacitive balance. So to obtain, so this equation tells you that R3 can be adjusted for the inductance balance, whereas R1 can be adjusted for the capacitive balance. And because this circuit or this Maxwell bridge consists of inductance part, then we have to also define the quality factor of this coil or a quality factor of this circuit. So the quality factor Q of a coil is given by, so Q generally defined as your reactive component divided by, or energy storing component divided by energy dissipative component. So energy storing component in this network is the inductance. So you can write like this, omega Lx divided by an energy dissipative, that is the Rx. So energy dissipate in the form of heat, that is the resistance is generally useful for the dissipation of heat, so it is a dissipative component, that is Rx, and energy storage component are either capacitor or inductor. But here in the case we are dealing with the inductance measurement, so the majority of part of the quality factors comes with the inductance. So we have write like this, Q is equal to omega into Lx divided by Rx. And from the previous equation we know that the value of Lx is nothing but, so we have this omega, Lx is nothing but R2 into R3 into C1. So from the previous equation we have Lx, this is R2 into R3 into C1, R2 into R3 into C1 divided by the value of Rx. Rx is R2 into R3 divided by R1. R2 into R3 divided by R1. So quality factor Q can be written as, because this will cancel out to each other, these two terms cancel out to each other, what will you get? And because R1 can be goes through like this, so at the end of this equation you can simply write like this, Q is equal to omega C1 R1, or simply omega R1 C1. For the consistency you can write like this, Q1 or not a Q1, it is a quality factor Q. Quality factor Q is equal to omega R1 C1. So this is equation number 3. So this is the equation number 3. So at the end of the solving this equation we get two equation, that is, so this is our Maxwell bridge, which consists of R1, R2, R3 and the unknown component. And for the capacitive, because we can measure the unknown inductance with the help of known capacitance. So by solving all these things, what we get, Rx is equal to R2 into R3 divided by R1, and Lx is equal to R2 into R3 into C1, and the quality factor Q is equal to omega RC or omega R1 C1. And so this circuit has some advantages. Okay, so if you closely look at this equation, that is the balance equation. Okay, so you may realize that the balance equation number 2 is independent of frequency, because you cannot have a omega term here. You don't find any omega term. So omega, so for example, if you have omega can be written like this, 2 pi f. Okay, omega is nothing but the 2 pi f, and whereas the 2 pi is a constant, whereas f is the component of frequency, and at the end of the equation what you realize, the balance equation 2 is independent of frequency, because there is no term of frequency here or no term of omega here. So this equation is independent of frequency, and the two balance equation are independent. Okay, so this is different term and this is a different term. So these are the two advantages of this network. So advantages. So what are the first advantage? That is balance equation. Balance equation number 2 is independent of frequency. And number 2, these two balance equations are independent. So this is the advantages of this network or Maxwell bridge. And with the help of this equation, that is Rx and Lx, you can find out the unknown resistance as well as unknown inductance with the help of known capacitance, because C1 is here. So with the help of known capacitance and two resistors, you can find out the unknown inductance. So this is, therefore this Maxwell bridge also considered as or it can be in electrical engineering, unknown inductance can be find out by the known capacitance value. So that's why initially I have told you that in a Maxwell bridge, the unknown inductance can be find out by using the known capacitance value. And at the end of the equation, we have got the capacity term, that is a C1, as well as the two resistance, the known resistance values. And the advantages of these networks or circuit are, this balance equation 2 is independent of frequency, because omega term we have eliminated, and the second advantage is that these two balance equations are independent. Thank you.